Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, with my co-host,
Gina.
We have an awesome interview for you guys and gals out there today. It is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Eddie Hermida. He is the vocalist of Suicide Silence. He's on the show with us right now. We're going to be talking about their fifth... Go ahead.
The pleasure and honor is all mine, man. Sorry to interrupt you, man. I just got to say that.
Dude, it's an honor to have you on here. I told Gina earlier it's pretty cool to get to interview you finally. We're going to be talking to you about your fifth album, Suicide Silence's fifth album, self-titled, of course. Gina, I'll let you do the honors, since you and Eddie have already hit it off really good here, so go ahead.
Well, all right, let me preface this laughter with, I got asked, before we even started this interview, I got asked a really, really, really awesomely funny question, so she and I have excused the P's and Q's, and you can ask me pretty much anything from now on.
All right.
Go ahead.
After that, it's just an open questions, right?
I mean, it's pretty much G-rated from now on, right? And we're gonna leave people wanting to know what that question was.
Absolutely. Later, I'll be like, yeah. Oh, did you want to know what that question was? No, that's awesome.
So, yeah, what do you have to ask me? What can I answer for?
I'm definitely excited to get into the new album, but before we go there, I kind of want to take it back a little bit, and I kind of wanted to know, like, when did you discover metal? Like, when did you have that aha moment of, like, holy shit, this is cool? Was it an aha moment? Was it something you were always into? Do you remember seeing a music video?
I've always been attracted to heavy music. I would say very early on, you know, my mom got me into the Beatles. As much as people don't think the Beatles are heavy, what we knew is that when the Beatles first came out, is that kids' parents would say, "Oh, that's that's the devil music. That is, you know, that's music that is crazy. These guys are out of their minds, and they're running some sort of mind control games on people." It was you know, the Beatles were considered the first, like, real heavy band. You know, they coined the term heavy. They were all beatniks that were punk rockers. You know what I mean? The beatniks were a punk rock movement before punk rock existed. So that was the mentality back then. You know, obviously I got into the Beatles already into the 80s, and I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I was just naturally attracted to heavy music, to down tuning, like, guitar riffs that moved in like a spiral and things like that. But what really got me into metal was Cannibal Corpse, out of all bands. I remember hearing this dude just, like, kind of burping, grunting into the microphone, and the sounds coming out of the guitars were just so heavy and so disgusting, and made me feel like I was entering the gates of hell, man. I remember feeling like a little bit ashamed the first time I listened to it, and scared, and I was like, this is the music that calls to me. This is the music that I need to play. And it's been a match made in heck ever since.
You can cuss, man.
I was gonna say, at that moment, did you realize, like, okay, I'm gonna have a future in this, like, this is what I want to be a part of?
You know, at that point, I already knew that I wanted to play music. I remember seeing some salsa artists. I'm Hispanic, so my mom took me to a concert when I was a little kid, and I saw some dude dancing on stage, and I was like, dude, I want to do that. I want to play music. I want to be an artist. I was in musicals as a little kid. I played the trombone. I was a total band geek, and you know, I already knew that I had a career in mind. I just didn't know that I was going to do this style of music, and that it was going to flow so easily out of me. That's where I feel like when I listened to Cannibal Corpse, it just kind of put me on those tracks, you know, put me onto that road, and I just started walking down that road. And everything that's happened ever since has been, you know, amazing. I've met some incredible people across the United States and the world. I've gotten a chance to rock in front of some of my favorite bands. I've gotten a chance to play headlining shows and invite bands that I'm a fan of out on tour with me. You know, the opportunities that people dream of, I've gotten to achieve them. And now I'm still continuing on. And we wrote a record that is 100% for me, for the band. It's for each member in this band, and we got to do it without any fear, and we got to do it with one of my favorite producers. So yeah, man, I would say that a band like Cannibal Corpse, bands like Alice in Chains, Korn, Slipknot, all those bands really kind of helped me put myself on the right track and hit it and go for it.
Eddie, what's impressed you the most about making the new album, the self-titled Tucson Asylum? What's caught your eye about it, if anything, man? What sticks out more to you?
The fact that I can go on the internet and read these like brutally, just brutal comments, and instead of being pissed off or upset or angry, I can literally laugh and get it. And I feel like I just got told a really funny joke, and it's about myself. That's one thing that I've never been able to do. Like if we're in a group of people and somebody spouts off some kind of a joke based on me, and I'll attack right back, man. I'll be like, "Nah, man, fuck you. You don't know what the hell you're talking about." And then I realize that I'm an even bigger butt of the joke. And what's been really cool is that experiment of seeing how people have been turning their backs on this, and it's not affecting me at all. It's not affecting how I feel about the music. It's 100% making me feel stronger, and that everything that I did was correct. We set out very early on to shake things up, man. We wanted to bring our milkshake to the yard.
And I want to say this right now. It kind of puts me in mind of the Metallica effect. If you remember when Load came out, everybody's like, "Oh, they sold out." No, they didn't.
Oh, dude,
that's bullshit.
You want to go real deep? When And Justice for All came out, people hated them. And
How?
to me, that's their best record. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I have friends that were in the Bay Area, because I'm from the Bay Area. So right. I got firsthand accounts of how people felt when each Metallica record came out. Obviously, like, And Justice for All was a big steer away from everything they were doing. It had ballads on it. It had really soft, beautiful Metallica parts in it that everyone loves. And everything beyond that, they've just pushed the envelope even further and further and further, even down to Lulu, which is a record that, to be real with you, I can't even listen to that record. I realized that they were just doing whatever they wanted to do. And that's what writing a record with Lou Reed was, something they wanted to do. And who am I to judge them for that? If they wanted to do it, they don't have to prove anything to anybody. They're Metallica. They can write a record like Hardwired to Self-Destruct and destroy any expectations of them. And that's the beauty of Metallica. And that's the beauty of Suicide Silence, is we are a band that we've already achieved everything we wanted to achieve in deathcore, and everything that we wanted to achieve in the heavy and extreme world. We became the biggest underground death metal sensation, and now it's time for us to spread our wings a little bit and grow as a band. That's all we want to do. So you can call this our And Justice for All, you can call this our Black Album, you can call this anything you want. You can call this any record that has come out after 1990 that gets absolutely hated on. It's just another atonement to the fact that the more hate you get right off the bat, the more you're doing the right thing.
See, here's my thing. I'm a huge Metallica fan. But if you say that And Justice for All, and this is just my opinion, were they sold, you got to be fucking kidding me. Are you crazy?
Exactly.
God, that lights a fire under my ass.
I was waiting for you to get upset on that.
It's my favorite record by them. So to me, like, I get it. I get where you're coming from, but I'll tell you straight up, somebody who was a Metallica fan, who was going to the shows back in 1982, straight up told me that. He goes, when And Justice for All came out, people hated that record. And then all of a sudden, they listened to it and they realized that it was a masterpiece. And,
exactly.
And that's all I'm comparing it to, is that people are judging things before they listen to it based on the circle of friends that they have that are on the internet, jamming our new songs through their little cell phone speakers or through their computer speakers, and they're not getting the full picture. They're getting some kind of like half-assed version of it. They shut it off after 10 seconds of listening to it, and then they make their judgment. And what I'm saying is, come out and see our show live. Come out and really get the experience, because you're not experiencing it all if you're not moved by what we're doing. The one thing that this record isn't is a sellout, and the one thing that this record is not is an attempt or like a money grab at making fans. No, we wanted to upset fans. We wanted to challenge fans. We wanted to challenge people. We wanted to challenge other bands in our scene that are straight copying us. We wanted to tell people that their mundane existence is more than that there's more to offer this world than fucking trying to make $1, which is bullshit.
No, I was just going to say, people just don't like change. I mean,
No.
they don't. And as far as like someone not giving it a chance, like what can they expect if they do come out to your show? Like, what is different or new with your performances with this album that's different in the past?
Well, we give a roller coaster. We allowed ourselves on this record to have songs that bring the energy down, that bring the vibe down and make things a lot more somber. We give people a chance to rest in between punching each other in the face. Go to the bar, grab yourself a beer, drink that beer calmly while we play this this ballad. We are showing people the dynamics of music, and we are showing people that Suicide Silence hasn't changed whatsoever. We can still crush the old songs, and they come off just as energetic. People still freak the hell out, and when it's time to give somebody a rest, we're not going to hit them with another slammer. We're going to give you a song that'll allow you to catch your breath, and then the next song is going to be punishing, and that's what the general vibe of the show is, and that's the one thing that we've been working our asses towards. The new music, all I keep hearing is that it comes off a lot heavier live than it does on the record. And that doesn't surprise me one bit. Suicide Silence has always been about the live show. It's always been about what we bring to you, to your face. Because in the comfort of your own home, you can listen to something and you're not going to get the full spectrum. But when you come to my face, when you come into my world, I'm going to show you what the fuck is really up.
How was working with legendary producer Ross Robson, who's worked with Slipknot and Korn? And this was mixed by...
He did Korn and Slipknot?
Caius and Tool too.
It was a fucking dream come true, man. It was everything I could have ever expected, man. How do I put it?
He's the Michelangelo of producers.
He's like a surgeon, man. He like takes a knife and sticks it right in your chest and then cuts you all the way down to your asshole and then lets everything drain right out, and you get to look at that puddle of guts and shit and your heart on the floor. Yes. and your all your pain and your memories and everything that you've ever held on to is just sitting there right in front of you, and it makes you want to throw up, and it makes you want to fucking cry, and it makes you want to punch a hole through the wall. It makes you want to run away, and it makes you feel everything that you've never wanted to feel. And then he goes, okay, now that you've seen that, go and sing onto the microphone. and that's where I really got to learn a lot about myself. If there's anything that I got from this record, it isn't money, it isn't fame, it isn't wealth. I'm not going to be able to run for president or anything like that. What I did get from this record is a new appreciation for who I am and who I've always been. I was able to see all the good things that I've done in my life and give them value. Because it's really easy, man. It's really easy to live in this world, this community of metal nowadays, where nobody's selling fucking records, nobody's making money, nobody's doing anything. Everyone's living off of an illusion. It's all fake it till you fucking make it. It's all about how do you look like $1 million while making 10, and that right there will make you feel like the biggest pile of dirt, no matter what good things you've done. Man, I've opened up for Metallica and Deftones on the same stage. I've gotten a chance to meet all of my favorite musicians on the face of this planet. I've gotten a chance to write with my favorite producer. I've gotten a chance to sell records. I have a fan base. I have people that tell me they love me, and I have people that tell me they hate me. I'm grateful for all those things, and that's because I was able to record a record with Ross Robinson, and for that dude to look at me straight in the face and go, dude, you are a killer. You're a lifer. You're made to do this music. And when I learned that, it took away any kind of doubt. It took away any kind of small-minded fear that I had of, I need to play it safe, or, I need to do this. Nah, it got rid of all that, and it allowed me to be this ball of fire that you hear on the record. And whether you like it or not, man, it's, some people like fire and some people don't, I'm trying to create a world of pyromaniacs.
Speaking of songs off the album, are there any songs that stand out more to you than any off of it, Eddie?
Personally, I'm a big fan of the song Conformity, just because I've always wanted to write a ballad in my life. I always wanted to write, like, your every rose has its thorn. I've always wanted to write a panty dropper, a song that just kind of shows the vulnerability of a musician and strength at the same time. I've always wanted to write a song like that. So for me, that song achieved that. And it was the one song that Ross really worked with me to try to make me sound like a good singer. He didn't pick takes that were weird, or he didn't pick takes that made me uncomfortable. I still listen to that song and I go, wow, we did something killer on this song. All the other songs, I love them to death, and I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but there's a lot more mistakes, I guess you could call them, quote unquote mistakes in those songs than anywhere else on Conformity. Conformity is, we really kind of tried to hit the nail on the head with that one and show people that, that the singing that we can do can have talent behind it. The slow, more melodic, methodical songs can have talent behind them, and that we're not just some one-trick pony deathcore band.
So I think you guys are headed to the UK soon. Am I right on that?
I'm going to Russia. I'm gonna go join a hacktivist group in Russia and make sure we elect Trump for another 8 years.
Great.
I leave on Sunday. I leave on Sunday to go play in Moscow and St. Petersburg, and then a couple of days later we start a 6-day run in the UK. And I've been frothing at the mouth for weeks now. I really want to play out there. I feel like a lot of the hate that we're getting on the internet is coming from the UK, so I want to see their faces.
So you're excited to show up there on their doorstep?
Fuck yeah! It's what I'm meant to do.
That's awesome.
I'm meant to bring uncomfort right to your face, man, and see how you react. Let's see how much balls you have, because I know I got huge balls.
Grapefruits.
It's always easy to throw the digital stones over the internet, But I was going to ask, when it comes to like the long tours, how do you endure touring? Do you I always wonder if bands like map out the best rest stops across the United States to know where to take a dump at, or what are some of the things that you prep for tour?
Honestly, the more that I tour, the less of prepping that I have. It used to be, oh man, when I went on my first tour, I had 55 pairs of underwear, a million socks. I had my video game console. I brought everything from home. And then 5 minutes into the tour, everything breaks, everything goes to shit. And you learn a big lesson that you can't take everything that you have at home.
Why did I bring all this shit with me?
Exactly. And you leave stuff in the van, or you leave stuff in the bus, and you lose everything. So the biggest thing that I say now is I'm gonna bring just enough clothes for 2 weeks. I'm gonna wear them as much as possible, and I'm gonna focus on making sure that my body is 100% and try not to get sick. So I mean, you become more of I guess you could say a survivalist the more you tour. You realize that a lot of the things that you need at home, You don't really need them on the road. You get fed every day. You may not get paid a lot, but at least people have food for you and beers and waters. You make sure to take your vitamins, and you make sure that you stretch in the morning so you don't bust your back while you're rocking out on stage. That's really kind of the best way to maintain on tour.
What helps you keep your mind fresh and open to new lyrics and things, that you've not crossed boundaries yet with? Is there anything that helps you out with it?
I think the knowledge of the fact that I live in 2017 and everything under the sun has been mentioned or said or done keeps me from second guessing myself, because what I realize is it's in the second guessing that you make the mistakes. It's when you say something and then go, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't say that because it sounds too tongue in cheek or cheesy. That's usually when you think off the cuff and you just kind of go for it. That's when the best stuff comes to the surface. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that keeps me fresh. I mean, I have like this endless pit of things to say. I mean, if you guys aren't bored with me talking right now, then
no,
I haven't proved my point.
No, this is fucking awesome.
You know what I'm saying, though. It's
right.
like I could go on for hours, man.
Right.
I just, I'm a singer, man. We're mouthpieces. We got the gift of gab, and that's one thing that once I learned to not second guess myself, I feel like that's when I succeed the most.
Speaking of the singing, does the type of vocals you're doing, does that come naturally for you, or was that something you kind of had to train for or keep up on?
I've been singing my whole life. I started off in kindergarten. I was in a musical. I was in The Wizard of Oz, and I played the Scarecrow. Sweet. And
Nice.
I had to stand in front of a bunch of my classmates and people that I didn't know, and I had to go up there and sing a song, and there was no microphones, there was no anything. So you just have to sing loud. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I started playing the trombone, and I was the trombone player that always stood up and did solos and stuff like that, because I would get up and start dancing, and I would make the show more interesting. So my teacher always wanted me to do all the solo stuff and to stand up and to be the standout person. So for me, I've always been like inclined to use my voice and my air and perform. So when I decided to join a band, it just kind of seemed like the natural thing. It was what I needed to do, not what I wanted to do. I guess you could say I haven't really had a choice. So when I approached the singing stuff, I had already sang on my previous band, All Shall Perish. There's not a record I did with them where I wasn't using my singing style.
Sure.
The one difference on this record, I did a lot more of it, and I did a lot more of not worrying so much about how perfect the takes were. I didn't stop myself when I made a mistake. And when you're performing in front of somebody like Ross Robinson, the first thing he's going to focus on is the mistakes. The one thing he's going to keep is the mistakes, because they're not mistakes. To him, he sees that as perfection. He sees that as real humanity escaping through this thing that you were given, which is my voice. I was given my voice. I didn't have any control over that. Somebody in the astral fucking world and somebody in the universe decided that I was going to have a voice that I could manipulate and do whatever the hell I wanted with. So he wants to capture the human aspects of it. And to other people, they sound like mistakes, but to me and him, it sounds like perfection. It sounds like vulnerability, and it sounds like fearlessness. And that's where, that's what was probably the hardest to cope with and the hardest to kind of accept was, oh man, Ross is going to pick this hiccup in my voice and he's going to put that on record. Oh man, kids are going to fucking hate me. And all these things that you immediately start to tell yourself, that don't matter. They don't matter, because the fact is it's Ross Robinson picking it, and it's Ross Robinson making that decision. And when you can say that to yourself, it makes absolute sense. And you go, oh shit, like I understand now and I get it. And that was part of what I was saying earlier with Ross Robinson giving me the ticket, the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do. And that was a badass thing. That was a badass thing to learn and accept.
What do you hope the fans take away from this album? The ones that give it a fair chance, and the true fans out there, Eddie.
It's about to get real serious. I'm going to let you know that right now. This record is an extremely heavy record, man. And I mean that emotionally heavy. Every song has a glimpse into the darkest parts of me. It is 100% made by that 13-year-old kid who was made fun of by everybody, who had a suicidal mother, who had an aunt who wrote off the family, who was his favorite aunt, who had a father who abandoned him, a family that always considered him a black sheep, and then had a very small circle of friends and had nothing but the video games that he played and music that he listened to keep him sane and keep him safe. And I got back to that. I got to be that little kid again. And the music that came out of me was there to show people that there are no victims in this world. If you victimize yourself, the only thing you are doing is estranging yourself from the pulse and the energy and life. I want people to understand that life is love no matter what. You can say you hate something, but really all you're saying is, I'm so frivolously obsessed with this one thing that I love it so much. And when you say you hate something, you're just basically admitting to somebody else that you love it entirely. And that's what I want people to see. I want people to change their perspective. I want people to see their depression as growth. I want people to see their anxiety as a tool to calm down. I want people to understand that everything that you see right in front of you is not real. As metaphysical and as crazy as that sounds, it's one of the more persistent truths of my life. And the fact is, I'm proving it by putting this record out, and all I've been receiving is hate. All I've been receiving is an obsessive multitude of people talking about it. Just today, I deleted a bunch of apps off my phone so that I stopped just reading the comedy on the internet. And today somebody texted me a picture of Chris Barnes talking about our record. It's like every single day for the last 2 months, somebody has been talking about our record. We're talking about our record right now. Right. Guess what? People hate it, but it's not that they hate it. They're just obsessed with it because we did something out of the norm. And that's what I want people to see. I want people to see that it's okay to fail, that it's okay to make mistakes, that it's okay for you to be a human because you chose to be here. You chose to be alive in that body. No matter what people have told you, no matter what you think, people didn't bring you out to this world without a choice. You chose. The energy inside of you chose to choose that body and chose to be alive. So appreciate that shit because it only happens once.
I love promoting you bands. I love talking to you as musicians and friends and everything like that. I absolutely love it. And I get shit talked about me about my show, and that's fine. I don't care. But I love doing this.
I mean, that's with anything in life, though. I mean, no matter what you do, somebody's going to have something to say.
Because they're not doing it.
Absolutely. Right. It's funny. I had an encounter with Fieldy from Korn, and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, dude, how you feeling, man?" And I was all like, "Oh, just living life, enjoying all these haters on the internet." And he goes, "That's the ticket right there, man." And he says to me, he goes, "Haters make you famous." And I laughed it off at first because I was like, I don't want to be famous. I don't care about that. Famous or not, that's not what I intend to do with my life. And when he said that to me, it wasn't that he was saying the haters make you famous. He was saying, don't be afraid of the haters. The fact that you have haters is the fact that people aren't complacent and they're not quiet and they're not turning their cheek to your art. And that's all that life's about, man. Put it out there. Dance like nobody's looking while everybody's watching so that they can talk shit about you. And somebody will come to defend you. Somebody will like it. Somebody will enjoy it. Somebody will gain something from it because it's art. Art comes from the heart.
Agreed. So going back to what you were saying about kind of your hardships in life, I think, when you go through hardships, that's what kind of makes great music. I mean, there's kind of this theory, which, so once you get rich and get happy, the music kind of goes there also, and it's unfortunate that that's kind of how it is. But it's like, it's cool to take those things and put them out in the world for either somebody else to understand what it's like. You know, they might understand what you're going through also, and you might help that person out. And I think you can take kind of those negative experiences and turn them into good.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the one thing that I've always seen is, because I'm not gonna try to say that I'm a musician that's always been loved either. You know, like I've been hated on everything that I've ever done. You know, be it when I first joined All Shall Perish, the old singer was better, and every record that I wrote after The Price of Existence was garbage compared to the last record. Same thing with Suicide Silence. You know, they were a band that always got hated on. Everything they did got hated on, but as it got hated on, everything grew. And the reality is the more hardship you deal with, the more strength you gain. The more you allow yourself to be vulnerable and accept life for what it is, the more you have a foot to stand on. If you're scrambling to try to make things perfect, you're putting yourself in a prison, you know, like you're not being yourself, you know, you're aiming for something that doesn't exist. And there is no perfection in life. Life is imperfect. That is, the imperfections is for lack of better words, it's the presence of something greater, you know, that moment of mistake that is a miracle in a way, you know. It's something that is there to keep things evolving and keep things moving forward. So the more I can dive into the ugliness inside of me, the more I have to give. And that's where a lot of musicians fail, you know. That's where a lot of musicians, like you said, once they get rich or whatever, they start to perpetuate happiness, is because at that time, there isn't a single rich person on the face of this planet that is ever going to tell you that they are miserable, because how could you be miserable with all the money in the world? And the fact is all of them are miserable. They're just not, they're just afraid to touch that. And they're afraid to show people how miserable they are. And one of the bands that I fucking really respect right now is Korn, because they just wrote The Serenity of Suffering. And that record to me is something that goes far and well into that fact. They have everything. They're the biggest metal band out right now next to Metallica. You know, like there really isn't anybody out there doing what they do and playing the shows that they play. They can announce that they're playing a show tomorrow and it'll sell out. You know, like that's the type of band that they are. They have diehard fans. They have whatever they want. They sold platinum records. They have had all the money. They got houses. They got everything. And the fact is none of that stuff will make you happy. None of that stuff will, especially if you don't know how to face that unhappiness and if you don't know how to deal with it. They deal with it. They show people that unhappiness. They show that dark side. And that's something that I will forever respect. And that's something that I want to have for myself. And I want to make sure that I do that for the rest of my life. I don't ever want to become complacent. I don't ever want to become safe.
Eddie, do you like the digital era that we're in right now of music, like recording albums, getting music out quicker? Do you like this now, man, or no?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, man. It really isn't something for me to like or not like. It's just the way things are. I wish that I lived in an era where there was a lot more mystique, and I wish that people didn't need to have internet profiles and didn't need to have everything out. And, you know, these interviews that we're doing right now would mean a lot more, you know, that people would actually listen to them, because there isn't a whole shit ton of distractions out there. I mean, right now, if I wasn't talking to you, I'd be on my phone reading the news, or I'd be playing a video game, or I'd be jamming the new tune by the new band that came out yesterday. And you know, all these things that are happening, it's easy for me to hate it. The fact is all it does for me is it propagates a challenge. It makes me want to work harder to show people what reality is and show people what they're hiding from. And that's okay too, you know? So in a way, it drives people into safer places, so that when music like ours that we just wrote hits, it hits harder, and it hits with more fury. It hits with more power. It doesn't fall on deaf ears. And the proof's in the pudding. Like I said, man, this is still the most talked about record of this year so far, and it's going to continue to be. Once people start seeing it live, once the opinion starts to change, everything's going to come around full circle. And everything that I'm saying right now is going to make perfect sense.
So this is just something I like to, on a lighter note, this is just something I like to ask people. It lets me know.
I told you guys it was going to get fucking heavy.
No, this is awesome.
I want to make sure I sneak this in here before we like wrap things up. This just lets me know how to judge you as a human being. What's your favorite pizza?
My favorite pizza. Okay, okay. You guys are gonna judge me, but in the last year, I started eating vegetarian just for my own.
I'm a veggie too.
But I will forever love a really good round table pizza, pepperoni pizza. Their double pepperoni is seriously hands down the best pizza on the face of this planet. The only one next to it that is just as good, but I like Round Table better, is Domino's Pizza. Domino's makes one of the best pepperoni pizzas. And every time that my band orders fucking 6 pepperoni pizzas, I always go, "You motherfuckers!" And
nice.
Yeah, it's the one thing that I really miss, but I stick to my guns and I make sure not to indulge in the meats, and I keep things going, you know.
How's
that working out for you? How's the whole veggie thing doing for you?
Honestly, I did it for health reasons. There's a long-standing signs of heart disease in my family, and also high blood pressure. And about 4 years ago, I had my blood checked out, and I had really high blood pressure. I'm also asthmatic, so whenever I take my inhaler, it shoots my blood pressure up, and I wasn't eating enough greens, and I did this to kind of challenge myself to eat more greens in my life. I'm not an advocate for PETA, and I'm not like
sure.
trying to save the world or save the whales or anything like that. As much as I back those people, and I realize that they're doing something good, and what their heart is trying to tell them to do, that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for health reasons, and it's working out great. I just got I went to a doctor's appointment yesterday, and the doctor looked at me and said, "You're doing great." So I walked out of the room feeling pretty good.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
In your own opinion, Eddie, what does Suicide Silence bring to the table for music that's not out there right now, man?
Oh, dude. That's
That's how you do it, Gina.
Fearlessness, man. Fearlessness, dude. That's always been the mantra of Suicide Silence is don't be a pussy. Don't be afraid. Don't, sorry to use the term pussy, because I mean, pussies are probably the strongest things on earth. But yeah, man, it's having fearlessness. It's fully embracing the extremes of life. You know, we were tired of getting so many praises and feeling like those praises didn't mean a fucking thing. We're not afraid to get hated on. We're not afraid to see the ugliness of the world. We're not afraid to show people our ugliness. And that's something that nobody in Suicide Silence has ever been. Mitch was never afraid of anybody. Mitch was never afraid of death. None of us are afraid of anything. It's what we want to propagate. It's what we want to show people. That fear kills, and fear is the death of everything that is human. So we don't want to kill humankind. We want to make things stronger. And the one thing that we for sure bring to this physical world, aside from all the metaphysical bullshit that I'm talking about, is we bring one of the best live shows out right now. There's not a single band on the face of this planet that can play after us that will crush a crowd as hard as we do. And that has been proven time after time after time. We give one of the best live bands, Korn, a run for their money every time we play with them. And those guys love us for it, because there really isn't that in the world. Everybody's bored. Everybody's trying to be super technical. Everybody's trying to be perfect, while we're just slamming our heads into the floor. And what fans want to see is pure emotion, and that's something that we give.
That's exactly right, because you don't want to come to a show and just be everybody just stand there. You got to get up with it,
dude. We call it the circle. You know, the circle of death.
Yeah.
It's this like little circle that musicians put around themselves that they never go outside of.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is something that I avoid like the fucking plague. It's as soon as I see myself standing in one spot for more than a half a second, I start to run to the other side of the stage. And the same thing with my band. They all do the same thing. They get in your face. They say hi to you. They throw a pick at you. You know, they run from one side of the stage to the other. They headbang and they circle headbang together. You know, we give a great live show, and we will always have that integrity. We pay a good crew to make sure that we can focus on nothing but the live show, and that's what we give. Because that's the most important fucking part, dude. I didn't become fans of bands by listening to them over the internet. I became fans of them because I got invited to this show, and the opening band was sick as fuck, and that's the band that I wanted to jam, you know? Like, that's what
Absolutely
makes music grow. So that's what we give our hearts to. It's a live show. Come see us live. Come see me play, because I will change your opinion on everything.
I'm sure you guys get these emails as well, and plus social media with this, but what's it mean to you when you receive an email from a fan, or prior to the shows or after the shows, they tell you that your music has pulled them through a tough time or a bad experience, or it's just, let them relax the everyday bullshit that we go through? What's that mean to you guys?
I feel the most alive in those times. It's one of the few reminders that I have that I'm doing something good in this world, because it's really easy to think that nobody's paying attention, or it's really easy to think that people don't really care about music, or that it's just a commodity to them. It's just a card to throw into their back pocket. You know, that's something that it's really easy to fall into and think. But the truth is that people are listening, and the music that saves my life is the music that's saving their life as well. Music is this language, man. It's this language that is how do I put it? It's the language of the unknown, man. And nobody knows how music came to be, but everybody loves music. When people speak music, they bond, and they realize that we come from the same place. And when you are able to make somebody who lives fucking 30,000 miles away from you feel like that you are similar people, that's when I feel the most alive. That's when I feel the most in touch with reality. And the reality is not not the floor that I'm walking on, or the shoes that I'm wearing, or the voice that you're even hearing right now. It's the reality is that there's a movement happening underneath our skin and inside of this a different plane on a different ethereal dimension that is the movement of energy and the forward progression of time and space and the expansion of everything that we know. So when I get those words from people, it makes me feel like I'm there, like I've done more than enough to help propagate this world and to expand the universe. That's something that I don't even like. That's about as much words as I can give. Like I always kind of break down, and I give that person a huge hug, and I tell them how much they mean to me, and how much that what they're saying to me saves my life every day.
I just like to say, as a fan of Suicide Silence for many years, thank you guys for what you've done. You know, continue to do what you do, man. Like you said, fuck the haters.
Of course, man. Absolutely. That's one thing that I said when I first joined the band is you can't fucking stop me.
Yeah.
And there isn't a day that goes by that I don't live by that mantra, that I don't live by the mantra that Mitch left behind for us is we only live once. So I'm going to go nuts every day. I'm going to go harder every day. As long as I have breath in my lungs, I'm going to fucking give everything I got, because I got nothing else.
Gina, you want to add anything?
No, man, just thanks for being on, and it was a great interview. I'm really glad that we got to talk to you.
Well, thank you. I'm super glad I got to talk to you guys. It was a really fun interview, and you guys got me all riled up now.
Hey, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, this new album, tour dates? How can they do that, my friend?
We're like I said, we're going to be hitting Rock on the Range, Chicago Open Air. Those are the only United States shows that we have booked for now. We're going to be going to Europe in June and hitting up all the festivals out there. And hopefully from now till we announce something, there'll be something to announce for the United States, because We definitely need to tour out here. We definitely want people to see the show. So you won't have to wait too long. That's a fact.
I should be at Rock on
Awesome.
the Range. I'm pretty sure I will be there.
Well, let's have a follow-up chat, man. I'm down as fuck.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, before I let you go, good sir, will you care to do a promo for the show?
Absolutely, let's do it. What's up, everybody? This is Eddie Hermida from Suicide Silence, and you're listening to me here on BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. For my co-host.
Hello. See ya. Goodbye.
We'll see you next week, guys.